everyone, hello. Happy greetings to you wherever you are. I'm here in the kitchen, and as the description says, I am making a smoothie. And so I wanted to come on board on live with you right now and make it together, because why not? I thought it would be nice to share the experience, and then it can even inspire you if you want to go ahead and make your own in the future, as soon as today maybe, or tomorrow. And if you don't know, I'm Jen from Personal Power Wellness Coaching, and we made it. So here we are. So as I mentioned in the brief description, we have some spinach, and this one is 125 grams. This is some cucumber, and it's just a couple of pieces. If you can see that, a couple of pieces of cucumber. And then I have a pack of berries, which should be about 260 grams. And I'm choosing berries and spinach and cucumber because I wanted a combination of a fruit and a vegetable. And I wanted a nice rich green color. And then I also wanted the cucumber, which also has fiber and the beneficial skin, the green skin, just to give it some further body. And then I also have some cashew milk ice cubes, which I have in the freezer right now, and I'll just add them. I will add them as well to help to give everything a more nice and, I don't know, like a slightly smoother taste, because the cashew milk will be a little bit fattier. So that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna pop them inside. So the cucumber, we've got our knives. And let me grab the water. And we're gonna keep it really simple, super simple. So we've got here, I have here the melons. So cucumber, sorry, I have melons on my mind. So I'm gonna angle it like so. So that you see, we've got the cucumber, that's 146 grams. I'm gonna cut them into a smaller piece, pop them in. These were already washed. And then we have our berries mix. And we have here spinach. So I'm gonna just put in the spinach, just pop in some green, and then I'm gonna pop in some of these nice fresh berries that are pre-washed, just for convenience sake. So just take a couple of strawberries, really, because these are actually really, really nice and beautiful color. So I just put in a couple of berries. Yeah. I don't want to make it too, I don't know, too big right now. It's not like if I don't drink all of it, it's good we have some left over for tomorrow. And now this is optional, but I have some wheat bran, which you can add as well because it has an added level of fiber. So this is from Carrefour. I'm gonna grab a tablespoon. We've got our tablespoon, so as you can see, measuring out a tablespoon to give it some more bulk. And what else could we possibly add to this mix? Let me see if the ginger has defrosted, because I literally just took it out. No, it's still too frozen. So that's fine. We didn't intend necessarily to add ginger, so that's fine. And what I'll do is I'll add a couple of pieces of frozen banana, because of course, we always need our banana, right? So let's just take a couple of these pieces right there to give it some coldness for that more summery type of smoothie vibe. So this is my What I did earlier, actually I did it last week, is I had some very ripe bananas and I didn't want to waste them, of course, and there were just so many that I thought, let me go ahead and just prepare in advance for a future nice cream or smoothie video. And I did that. So I cut them up into pieces, as you can see, in their ripe form, and then I put them in a container that I froze. And that means that then the pieces are pre-prepared and ready for consumption in their frozen form if you want to make an ice cream or a smoothie or just eat them with yogurt. So I'll put this to the side. I'm gonna add some water like that. I don't know, I'm just going by feel. And then let me just see how it works out at first, because this is my first, you know, real smoothie in a while. I haven't made a smoothie like this. So let me turn it over and angle a bit more up so you can see. All right. So that's what we got. All right, so we got it. Put the water there. Everything's fine. I'm contemplating whether I get the cashew milk now, but it's fine. Let's see what happens with this mix. Right now, everything is on. Now I'm going to put the remainder of the spinach, because I see that it's mixing quite well. Really want to make it nice and more focused on the spinach bag, which I bought intentionally on purpose for this reason. I had a smoothie on my mind because I wanted to get the fibers, even though I get enough fiber already. And now we're going to get some cashew milk ice cube. So this is what I've got. This is cashew milk. Cashew milk that I had bought from a juicing order, and I had so much left over that I didn't want to just drink because it's really high in fat. And so it's a lot of calories, and I don't want to just drink all my calories or all in fat specifically either. So I put them into little ice cube trays, and that way I would have small portions that I can use in my decaf coffee, tea, cooking, or smoothies, ice creams. If you want to make cashew ice cream too, that's an option. So I'm gonna take a couple. So it's a really handy, convenient way, and this is about 36 grams, which, let's see what happens. 42 grams, right? So we got the spinach to the side, and here we are, cashew pieces to give it little frozen element. Pop them in. All right, so let's go again. faster than last time. If you remember, if you came along with me for my last video, we made like an ice cream smoothie thing too. And it took a bit longer because it was frozen. Now I'll show you what it looks like inside. If we can remove the wire in here. And hopefully this will be fine. So that's it. It's got that fiber. It looks seamless. It's totally green. Green. All right, so fantastic. So now we're going to serve it up. And here we are. Turn it over like so. Okay. All right, awesome. Put this here. I can smell the cucumber. Let's see. Let me grab the cup. I think this one. So this way. Let's grab this one because it is transparent. And let's come close to serving up. Center of the action. All right. Now, my reason for making this smoothie right now today is because I wanted to just have a taste of getting that fiber in one swift and simple little smoothie concoction. So there we go. And now let's have a taste test. All right. So let's turn it up. Okay. So, straw. So, spinach, cucumber. Berries. I get the banana really gives it like a subtle hint of banana. Yeah, I get that like banana berries flavor vibe. So I like it. And it came out thick, as you saw when I served it up. So this has got that spinach, cucumber, wheat bran for the added fiber element, berries, and banana. I didn't put all the berries, so maybe about more than half of this. So yeah, this is very interesting. And if you make your own smoothie, you'll be getting all the fiber. You can also replace or substitute spinach with kale, arugula, rocket, but it depends on your flavor preference because rocket and roca, arugula, those will be much more bitter and intense. So you might want to pair that with only like a sweet fruit like bananas or persimmons. Persimmons being very sweet, or with figs. Figs would also help and work in that sense. And this one, even this smoothie, if you froze it, you could just have it as a sort of nice cream. And the fact that I added those bits of cashew milk, about the 42 grams that I said, or 42 milliliters, it gives it that smoothness and it doesn't feel so like light and airy. So it's really interesting. I like it. And there's so many ways you can play around with this. You could play around by adding ginger root, turmeric. You could also instead another day do papaya instead of berries. Instead of doing cashew milk, you could do oat milk if you want, or you can remove it completely if you want a totally fat-free beverage or item. And again, as I mentioned, the sweet bran is totally optional. You don't have to add it, but I just wanted to because I have it and I do consume it every day. And I thought it would be interesting to give it that added fiber element in this smoothie. We had berries, some blackberry, blueberry, strawberries, and the strawberries really smelled beautiful. And that was it. And the pieces of frozen banana. And I wanted to answer quickly before I finish a question from an audience member, a viewer. He asked me regarding melons in follow-up, in connection to my previous video on melons and the fact that I have melons every day on an empty stomach as my breakfast, breaking my fast with a melon. Reason being that melons are very fast digesting, and they're the fastest digesting fruit in the spectrum, and probably food item, because the fruits are the fastest digesting items. So among those, it would be the melon, from what I've learned and the research online. So he asked me if having melons as well would help to clear things out. And in this regard, I'm not a digestion doctor. I'm not an expert in this matter. I can speak from my experience and what I've learned through research online and other videos, which we all have access to. We all have access to the same resources essentially through Google and YouTube and life experience. But I would suggest, like, what is typically the recommendation is to have melons first thing in the day before any other foods on an empty stomach, because that way you can just ensure that it will go through your system swiftly and fast as possible in its natural order and this natural transit time, and it won't be obstructed from anything previously that you've had in the day. Specifically, if what you've had earlier in the day would have been heavier, higher in fat, more complex, a combination of protein, fats, and carbohydrates. Not that it's bad, but it's just the fact of the matter is that these are items that are more complicated and just are more energy intense and require a longer time duration for your system to digest them and pass them through. And so if you're gonna have melons, then I have actually, to be honest, I have had melon after having had my first meal of the day, after having had other foods that were not melons. And I've done that in the evening, like before my dinner as the starter or appetizer. And I mean, sometimes it's been fine, but only when my previous meal was rather light and only fruits and veggies. But I don't think it has worked so well for me when I've had something more complicated earlier in the day, like if for whatever reason I had a slice of bread, or if I had at the time that I was having yogurt, or if I had something like if I were to consume an animal protein, then it might be a little bit dicey. Reason being that it depends on how your system processes things, but it might generate gas, because if what you ate previously was really heavy, like a burger or pizza or like tacos or even Dunkin' Donuts, like food, pastries, things that are like fat, you know, typical foods that we all know and all crave, like, you know, the pizza, the fast food, the McDonald's, the burgers, like brisket, if you do meat, steaks, those things. And then later in the day, you start your meal with melon. Well, those previous foods from your first meal will still be there in your system, because it really will take a variable time of between 24 to 36 to 48 to 72 hours for you to get food out of your system. And meats and proteins will take a longer time than simple carbohydrates. So if you think about then having had your meal, a bolus of a combination of all these like elements, the simple and the complex and the medium term types of foods, then you can kind of logically, rationally understand how some things would be already kind of stuck there. So then if you have on top of that melon, then melon will want to go through your system really fast, but then it'll go through your stomach. But if you already have food like meat and poultry and fish and other foods like sitting, and fat, because fat stays in your stomach for a long time until it's fully digested. It takes a longer time. If you imagine that, then your melon is being obstructed, it's being held up, and then that is what eventually gives us the gas and the bloating and the indigestion and reflux. It's improper digestion because we're not facilitating and smoothing out the process based on how we're timing foods, combining foods, pairing foods. Again, I'm not an expert in this regard, but I have learned about this over the years, starting like over 5 years ago. And you can try it out for yourself to see if it rings true, and then notice when you get gas, when you get bloating, and notice if it's been after heavy meals and then it's combining fruits and steak or chicken and fish and avocado and the fats and the simple things and the salads. And the salads are the most benign item you could have had, but it might feel like too much and overwhelming if you have salad, because then you have the roughage and the raw fiber that needs to also make that bulk and bigness, which is creating further fermentation of those fibers through your intestines. But really the bulkiness and the bloating and the feeling of distension and bigness comes from when the bacteria is digesting our fiber that was coming through from the foods that we've eaten. So I hope that you don't have to deal with that difficulty. It's so uncomfortable, as we've all known probably through our life experience. But try food combining. Try this method of timing your foods and giving them a certain sequence in case you feel this discomfort, and change things up in this regard, and then see how it goes and see how you feel. And then start first with the smoothie. Because that fiber, simple fiber, will be going through your system. You can imagine it'll pass through your system just like this, giving you regular bowel movements, simple bowel movements that are pain-free. They won't, feel so uncomfortable, and you won't use one roll of paper each time you visit to go number 2. But it'll be smoother and simpler and feel better and better. So that's the intention. All right, so Donald, that was my answer to your question. I hope it kind of clarifies if melon helps to clear things out. I think it can help clear things out if you have it first thing in the morning or whenever you have your first meal on an empty stomach. That way you can just avoid any issues, and then reconsider if you've already had a super heavy meal or a relatively complex meal earlier in the day, and now afterwards you want to start your next meal with melon. Kind of think about what you actually have already eaten, and if it was too complicated and too complex, then you might want to pass on the melon to start and just move on to the salad, or to just another fruit. Those are just my 2 cents. So yeah, so thanks for tuning in. We made our Spinach-Berries banana cucumber smoothie. Smells like cucumber for sure, which is phenomenal. I'm glad about that, and I have a feeling it's going to work well for my system, and I know it would work well for you too. So thanks for tuning in, and see you soon next time from our smoothie goodness, smoothie creation, and hopefully we'll create some more beautiful, delightful, healthful, and satisfying, delicious things in the future together. See you soon. Bye from Jen at Personal Power Wellness.